Say when.
So imagine this, you're facing a violent criminal, you've got your concealed carry weapon on you, you're ready to save the day, save your life, save the innocent people around you, but wait, you're in New Jersey. You have the duty to retreat. Guys, we're going to break it down today, see what that actually means, see how it could save your life, and see why knowing the difference between when you should run away and when you should fight is really important. So let's break it down. Before we dive in, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these videos, and let me know, do you think we have the duty to retreat? Do you think we should give ourselves the options of running away before we defend our lives? So the legal definition I found of duty to retreat from New Jersey is paraphrased from NJSA 2C 3 and 4. It says, in New Jersey, you can't use deadly force in self-defense if you know you can safely retreat, except when you're inside your home. When you're inside your home, you have the castle doctrine, so it's a little different, but still, we'll talk about that in a second too. In plain language, if a prosecutor can argue that you could have retreated and not shot that bad guy trying to hurt you, even if it wasn't practical, you could face charges for standing your ground in New Jersey. Now, let's also talk about the repercussions of actually having to draw your weapon and firing and shooting someone who is possibly trying to really hurt you. It's not something you want to have to deal with. So in any self-defense situation, whether life-threatening or not, you want to de-escalate, you want to get away if you can. That's always what you'd want to do. So it seems like I'm saying we do have the duty to retreat, right? No. What I'm saying is it makes sense if you can to retreat. And also in your home, if you think about it, right? So let's think about this. If you're in your home and you're by yourself, say your family's out somewhere, you're by yourself, you're in your home, and you just happen to hear someone coming in the back door, you see them coming in, and you're by the front door, you could get out and call the police, and say you didn't even have your gun on you and you'd have to go get it, then in that situation, I would say, well, is it worth your life? Are your possessions worth your life? In that situation where your family's not home, you're able to escape out the front door, get in your car, drive away, call the police, and they will eventually find this guy probably. Is it worth it? You have to decide that. And obviously there's a million different variables. So if you were in the house somewhere where you couldn't get to your front door and this person is coming in, you can get to your firearm first. You obviously can assume that guy is going to do you harm. So then that's a different story. But you have to, every self-defense situation has so many variables and it's always adapting that you have to adapt with it. And you can't just say, you always have to retreat, because that's impossible. It is impossible to just label one thing that you have to do in every self-defense situation, because they're all so different. So no matter what, if you can save a life, yours, if you can save the other bad guy's life so you don't have to deal with that, do that, whatever way that is. And if you can't, if you are going to be harmed, if your family's going to be harmed, if innocent people are going to be harmed, that's different. That is different. That is when you have to act, right? So do you have the duty to retreat? You kind of do on a moral perspective, but you don't have the duty to retreat if someone is going to be harmed from a moral perspective. Not from New Jersey. New Jersey always wants you to run away. They just want you to, run away, no matter what, because they like the bad guys better than they like the law-abiding citizens, if you didn't know. So the difference between the duty to retreat is made to just make the law-abiding, gun-owning citizen the bad guy. That's what it is. It's just to give the prosecutors something to say when you defend yourself. Well, why didn't you run away? Huh? Why didn't you find a way out? Well, you took a man's life. How could you do that when you could have run away? Do you see where I'm going with this? So that's really what it's for. It's not for the law-abiding citizen. It's to help the criminal. Those other states have stand your ground to defend the person who's defending themselves. That's really what it is. So it just gives the people in the courts more ways to defend you because you have the right to stand your ground against someone who's trying to harm you. And then in New Jersey, it's the opposite. They're telling you you don't have the right to harm them. You have to run away. So do you see how that works? Both these things, duty to retreat and stand your ground, are really just to something that the prosecutor and the lawyers can say, hey, he has this right to stand his ground, or no, he should have run away. That's what it is. But the definition of stand your ground is that there is no duty to retreat before using deadly force. As long as you're in a place and you have the legal right to be and reasonably believe deadly force is necessary to prevent death and great bodily harm. So pretty much, stand your ground is just that you have the right to stand your ground if there is chance of serious bodily harm and or death, and you can use your right to self-defense, your firearm, or whatever you have on you, your katana, whatever you have on you that day, to defend your life. And that just gives you that right to stay there and say, I'm going to defend my life because this person is trying to take it or take my family's or take some innocent persons, right? So the duty to retreat puts the burden on you. Prosecutors can second guess your split-second decisions. The stand your ground puts the focus on the attacker. The law presumes that you don't have to run from this violent criminal threat. That's the difference. Let me know, which one makes more sense to you? Am I the crazy one? I think that you should be able to stand your ground, but you should also know when you can retreat. You should, so that you don't have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with the courts. You don't have to deal with taking a life. If you can do that, yes. So morally, duty to retreat, but you should stand your ground if you have to save a life. I believe I heard Steven Crowder say one time, when a criminal tries to do a violent act against an innocent person, they have now forfeit their right to live. So, and I love that quote because it just makes sense. If that person is willing to take another life, innocent life, someone who hasn't done anything, then they have now forfeit their right to live, and you can defend yourself and take their life because they're trying to do it to you for no apparent reason. There's not many duty to retreat states. You've got New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Minnesota, and a few others. Stand your ground states, you've got over 30 states, including Florida, Texas, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and most of the South and the Midwest. So most states have that stand your ground so that their citizens can not have that hesitant feeling if they have to defend their life. If I don't run away, I'm going to end up in jail. No, you should be thinking about whatever way you can to save your life or the innocent people around you. The duty to retreat leaves you legally vulnerable, and prosecutors can argue that you should have escaped. To stand your ground protects your right to defend yourself without hesitation. Let me know, guys, if you're watching this, what state are you living in? Do you have stand your ground or do you have duty to retreat? And do you guys feel that you should retreat if you can? Or do you think you should stand there and be Doc Holliday and give him the old, say when, one of those. So let me know what you guys think. So here's the bottom line. In New Jersey, you have the duty to retreat before using deadly force in a self-defense situation if you can. In most other states, you don't. You have stand your ground. But remember, nevertheless, if you can escape, do it. And live to fight another day. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think New Jersey's duty to retreat saves lives, or do you think it's just put there to make law-abiding citizens' lives more complicated? Let me know down below. And guys, keep hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Keep coming back for some more Second Amendment videos. I love all the comments, even the negative ones. I love them all. I want to hear from everybody. And thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Keep learning, keep training. And in the words of Doc Holliday, and he probably was in a stand your ground state at the time, say when.